It's the music. We got a couple minutes here. Well, it's Mountaineer Legends pregame. We got
my drink off the counter.
Brian Joswiak.
Hey, it's good to be back.
Yeah, we got Jake, the Snake, the Pumpkin Patch, Kelchner. How you doing, Coach?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. And then, of course, we go down to the lower tier. We got the King, Darryl, Talley. TT, what's up?
And you're listening to you rant and rave early.
Hey, you know what? I'm fired up, baby. I'm ready to go. And then we got, Mr. Shoulder Pads himself, Mike Collins, the safety. The safety's going to knock you down in the dirt. What's up, Mikey?
I'm good, man. Hey, Brad, good to see Darryl.
Yeah.
Brian.
You up in Minnesota?
Jake.
No, I'm in
Minnesota.
Orlando.
You're in Orlando. Yeah, I do that. Sure. You know what? Hey, Coach, you see that? It's Major Harris. Did you ever see him before?
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
Oh, we want to know some truths this Legends pregame. We want to hear some stories. I know Joswiak's got a few of them. We don't want to go there though.
I got none, man.
Not gonna happen.
I love that song, man. I'm telling you. That thing rocks.
Yeah, you know what it's called?
Tell me.
You better run. I don't know. Jake, you're way too wild, man.
Hi, my name is James
Cut the
Schmitt.
hair
I'm
off.
from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. And when I'm back home in the Pittsburgh area, you can find me at my
Lost
local
all
farm.
your
We had that golden blue pride at Parmar. There are literally hundreds of Parmar stores in West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and even more on the way. Download the Parmar app to save even more. And whether it's food, gas, groceries, or whatever, we have you covered at Parmar. West Virginia proud and ready to serve you.
If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
James,
Where the true gold and blue faithful go for the best in beer, burgers, pizza, wings, and more? It's the Mountaineer Tap House on the Evansdale campus. Mountaineer Tap House features well over 40 craft beers on tap, plus the best appetizers, salads, burgers, wings, pizza, and tacos the University City has to offer. Enjoy their exclusive craft cocktails too. Dine on the balcony or chill out inside with walls and walls of TVs. Follow Mountaineer Tap House on social media. Mountaineer Tap House, second floor above the Parmar store on the Evansdale campus.
hello and welcome to Mountaineer Legends pregame with myself, the Wolfman, and big bad Brian Joswiak. For the Baylor Bears, we have legends, the king of swing, the king of state, Darryl, Talley, DT. What's up, dog?
Wolf.
Hey. Oh, you got a whole lot. I got you. Got to go ahead and wait for that delay. And then we got Mikey Collins. Mikey, how you doing? Say hello.
I'm good, Dale. It's good to see you.
All right. And of course, yeah, we got a new one here with Jake the Snake Kelchner. Jake, great to have you here. Mountaineer Legends pregame. You doing good, brother?
Yeah, doing great. Good to be back here.
You fired up for the Baylor Bears?
Oh, yeah. Every game.
Every game. Oh, my goodness. Well, listen. So this is Mountaineer Legends pregame for the Baylor Bears. And a lot of things have been going on this season. The Mountaineers are 2-3 heading into tonight's game, Thursday. We are live now. And let me get started here. If you're out there, if you're listening in and you want to ask a question for the Legends, please do so. We'll try to answer as best we can, if we can. And if it's not a good question, I won't put you out there anyway, so it doesn't matter. So don't suck in your questions is basically what I'm telling you. But I'm so glad to have you guys. Let's just get right into it. Let's go back and talk about, of course, you got to talk about the Texas Longhorns. And I don't know, Jake, did you think we were playing Texas tonight? Wearing that shirt because that looks like a little bit of Longhorn colors.
Buddy, some of us got to really work. So I can't sit in the studio in a T-shirt.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to go to Joe's because his name's on half the show here. But Joe's, what's going on? Talking about Florida. You were off the show the last time. Going through some tough times, man, getting back. Look at you. You look happy, man. So, I mean, things got to – I don't know if you're giddy because of all the frustrations you've been through or you're just happy to be back. What is it, man?
Well, first of all, I am absolutely happy to be back with Mountaineer Legends and talking Mountaineer football because, yes, indeed, the last couple of weeks have been very eye-opening. A lot of destruction where I live. The swath of that hurricane wrecked a lot of people, ended a lot of lives. It did so much damage. It looks like a nuclear bomb went off, and I hope to God I never have to see anything like that either. But living through it was a challenge. I evacuated where I live and went up to my daughter's house, and like Darryl, DT got it. It went over top Orlando and dumped a bunch of water. But we had sustained winds of between 80 and 120 mile an hour for about 7 hours, Wolf, and it really makes you cling, man. It makes you pray and it makes you believe that all you got to do is get out of it and get to the other side. And here I sit. I'm still here. And that's all that really matters, man. I packed my car up with the most important assets I own, man. My guns, my ammo, my fishing gear, my golf clubs, and my clothes, and some extra cash. And I went on the road, brother. But I'm happy to be here. And let's talk some football because, we got to win. I mean, it's due now or we got real things to talk about.
All right, let's talk about it. Schmitt, can you hear me? Because you just popped on.
What up, dog?
And that is Mountaineer, former player, Legends, Owen Schmitt, showing up for Mountaineer Legends. And only the way that Schmitt can, because if Schmitty's around, Schmitt can happen. That's for sure. How you doing, brother?
Schmitt happens. Joe's love this there. Got you some headphones. Got you a new mic. He's ready to rock and roll. To be.
I went to Best Buy.
Legends of W. The Snake. Oh, the Wolf. Big Joe's. Mr. How y'all doing?
We're doing good, man. We're getting ready to talk some Baylor Bears football. But I got to say this one story that last time some of you weren't here. We had Darryl was on there. Just the storm happened, and he was outside, and he had a chainsaw in his hands. And the neighbors got a little bit nervous.
Well, here's the thing out here. You had to go. You had your yard out, and he's a head one fall in between my, and I took out 5 trees in there, 5 little trees. I got.
All right. Well, there you go. A little bit scary for the neighbors, but you survived. You did well. And speaking of surviving and doing well, the Mountaineers had to survive the Texas Longhorns. Joe's, let's start out with you in this. What's your take? Coming out of Austin, the Mountaineers took it. They got smacked. We've all had games where we hadn't played all well together, gotten smacked. What's your take?
Well, we got smashed up front, in my opinion. They shut us down. We were 28-0 down before, it was really frustrating to watch because our drives, the first 4 drives, I think we scored on like the 4th drive, finally. And it's like, we got to get a quicker start and we got to get some points in that first quarter. And then second, the third quarter, we come out and didn't score a point. So it kind of, we got to find a way to put points on the board. I mean, it's simple as that. You got to outscore your opponent. Obviously, we got to play defense, but if you don't outscore your opponent, you can't win the ball game.
Well, that's for sure. Yep, and that's good. A good breakdown on the offense. DT, what's your take on the defense? What did you see? The issues of the defense going in 28-7 at halftime, and then missing the interception for a touchdown, making it 35-7 with 12 minutes left in the third quarter.
That's the thing. You want one, but you just got to be able to don't know how to finish. I think you have to be more physical up front, just the way I see it, because your 2 yards are run. Every time they are 4.5 yards, you're always playing on your heels. You got to the people, reading everybody else. That's just my.
Yep. Well, Mikey Collins, okay, so DT is saying, listen, you got to be more physical up front defensively. And there were times when that big offensive line, the Longhorns, averaging 330 pounds, really did get it. We got Bijan Robinson. You had Roshan Johnson back there at quarterback. But, man, what I saw was a lot of trouble with those doggone receivers, Xavier Worthy out there, Grease Lightning. You know, you had Whittington beating guys to the outside on the perimeter on simple screenplays. And the fact that Sanders, the tight end, running by some guys in the spots. So they didn't play well together. I don't know what the deal was, but they did not come out. What is your take, brother?
That's a loaded question. There's a lot to answer there. We're struggling mightily at the cornerback position. The confidence in which those players are playing with appears to be very low. The skill level just doesn't seem commensurate with two. And like what Darryl said and what Joe said, if we're not getting any push, a secondary's best friend is and that with his time.
That's why I say we don't
Bills with
have anybody up front.
We don't have anybody up front. We're not, and we were like Texas. I mean, let's be honest. If with Quinn Ewers doesn't get hurt, Texas probably, they are good. The frustrating thing is what Josie was saying, drives offensively as well. But I personally, a team built and predicated on its ability to having to outscore the is not capable of making stops, and our defense is not capable of making stops because the secondary. It's just frustrating. It's frustrating, and Jake and I were talking last year about quarterback play and things of that nature at the Virginia Tech game. I'd like to get Jake's perspective of the defense. I'm sure he has some strong opinions about it as well.
Well, yeah, before we get to that, it's like there's no doubt that you're saying that defense, line, backers, and secondary, they all got to work together, obviously, as a unit. And when one's not clicking, you're leaving that secondary out there hanging with some elite world-class athletes with speed. And, Jake, let's flip that over, man. And you're looking now on the offensive side, and you are Hudson Card. And you may not be Quinn Ewers, but you're pretty darn good yourself as Hudson. At 4.5-star guy, whatever. I saw a dude that made some great throws. I saw a dude that could move in the pocket, feel his way, and I saw a dude that could extend the play with his legs. What are you looking at that with that Texas offense?
Well, more than I focus more on our offense than on their offense. I mean, there's only so much we can do with the talent we have, especially the way this trends when you guys. We jump from one team to the other team, and then they get to play right away. Coming from my experience, when I left Notre Dame and transferred to WVU, you have to sit a year, and then you learn. You get to adapt to all your teammates, the coaching, and actually learn the system. But now they're coming in right away, jumping right in, and boy, it's a little bit tough throwing right in the fire. You don't even know who your receivers are. Barely know the system. So I think JT's done a pretty darn good job with that, coming right in from Georgia the way he did for our guys. But I think it's kind of an interesting world out there with college football is so different now than what we were doing back in the day. It's just such a different experience with the transfer portals, the way they're getting paid. I mean, when it comes to recruiting now, like, I don't even know how we compete, with these people, these other schools paying guys, how do we go after top talent and have a chance with that?
Well, I think
That's
You're
an
on the
interesting
inside
question.
track with
Question.
yeah, that's but listen. So okay, I understand what you're saying, and you're talking about the transfer portal, and you don't have to sit out the year. You're talking about NIL, and those are all big discussions. But for right now, it doesn't matter because it's here.
Exactly.
It's here, and you have to deal with it. And as coaching staff and as administration and as a team, you have to find a way to win at those specific issues. Transfer portal. How do you win? Transfer portal. How do you win NIL? Because we did get JT Daniels. Now, listen, I don't know what the dollar figure was, but JT Daniels, he got some money now. Okay, so is it the Mountaineers using resources at the right time? I'm going to take this to you, Schmitt, and ask you about that. Are the Mountaineers using the resources that they need to? Says Jake put this going this direction for here. Go ahead, answer, Schmitt, man.
I mean, in my opinion, it's well worth the dollar figure. Now, I don't know what that dollar figure was, but he is well worth. I understand. Yeah, guys are coming in and they're not having that year to sit out. Retrospectively, learn the system. All right, so we have to catch up to speed regardless. It's still football, right? Those guys have to spend the reps together to be able to get on the same page. But as far as that's an elite quarterback that we bagged, that not only fit, but we benefited from getting him. Now, we might not be where we want to be because the money we spent, quote unquote, for that player, but I think he has all the intangibles that we need for us to be successful. As far as coaches and athletes and athletes. Listen, the Big 12 is good football, right? The 12 is good football. So we've played some good teams this year. We've lost times, but that's not just because of I think you can't make mistakes in big games. You can't. To play good football to win games. And that's what I feel like we're kind of is the growing pains of. Look, we're playing in a great league, and we have to football. We have to eliminate the mistakes game. I think as a player standpoint, I think maybe in the secondary we talent. I think that's maybe where the transfer portal. You see, there's a slight. I wouldn't say miscommunication. I think those guys know what they need to do, but so we have to make plays when plays are put in our last eyes. But I think as far as like you just saying, and I don't mean to be long-winded in the question, JT value, I think it's completely there. I think we've had hope these receivers. I'm expecting a big day out through the air today. We can win. I think if we can push through with what we got on the ground and at least give it through the air, I think we'll be successful. But I don't think we wasted any value in.
All right, Schmitt, thank you for that. And let's just go right to Aaron Beasley. Mr. Beasley, joining us a little late there. I want to thank you for this. Good Good to have you, brother. And I like to say this right now before everybody. I like to do before the show that Bees is up for a Hall of Fame for the NCAA. That's a huge, huge honor, man. And everybody needs to get out there and vote for him and join. I think it's like $40, Bees. You can join, you can get a vote. And we need to get more guys in like DT, like Darryl Talley, and on this, because that is exactly how we get out there and help our guys. Because we're a small state, we're a small population, and we need votes. And getting DT in there, Major Harris, and now Bees, we got to get you in, brother. So, hey, welcome to Mountaineer Legends pregame.
Thanks, Wolf. I'm sorry about last week, brother.
You're going to apologize for last week?
Was it last week? No, 2 weeks ago.
Hey, you're going to apologize for last week, man, and you come on here 20 minutes late?
Hey, I am I have a free schedule. I have a free schedule, so things it's kind of hard sometimes,
I hear you, man. I hear you. All's good. You are forgiven, brother. Okay, what's your take? What's your take on all that's going on here with the Mountaineers losing to the Longhorns, and now they have to prepare for this Baylor Bears team? What do you do when you had a bye week? Here's the good news. You get a bye week, and then you get a Thursday to get better. So you don't actually have to wait for 2 weeks on a Saturday. You get a few days to get off. You get to recoup a little bit, but then you get to jump in a little bit early, because I'm sure they want to get back to redemption.
Well, I think one thing is reflection. When you have a bye week, you go look at all your negative plays. I'm talking really about the defense, because I don't put any of the blame on the offense. I mean, we're doing what we had to do except the drops. I mean, you get on the judge machine, obviously. But I think we have to go back and reflect on how we're playing on defense and what is our scheme, and finding a defense to hang our hat on that we can be comfortable with, because it still looks like we're confused out there. We still got, 3 guys in one zone, or we're missing contain on that left side from the defensive perspective. It's like hopefully we correct those things, because, we can't keep playing and doing the same things. I'm actually down here in Jacksonville, and it's like I'm repeating myself, because it's like the Jaguars just made the same mistakes the last 3 or 4 games, and now it's like we're doing the same things in West Virginia, because, the game is about the fundamentals, and like you got guys out there thinking too much. If you got too many packages out there, maybe it's time to simplify and make it easier for these guys to just run around and play ball.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Absolutely solid points. DT, what's your thoughts here on recuperating? How do they turn things around from getting smacked down in Texas to actually making the smack with Baylor?
Well, basically what they got to look at each other in the mirror and say, look at themselves in the mirror, then look at each other and tolerate this. You got to put down and decide that they're going to football and tackle people, push them around, because that's what they're doing. Guys are getting pushed by tackles.
Yeah,
That's the things that I would do. I would go back to where I started my people. Communication. Guys, you get 3 guys, evidently somebody's not communicating. Can't remember where they're supposed to be going. So it's got to be a miscommunication on our communication skills, just basic fundamentals. Block. That's what we need to do.
All right. Hey, Coach, what do you think, man, about this week? What are you doing now? You're JT Daniels. You're preparing this team. Team took a little bit of a hit. Not a little bit of a big hit, because they got smashed. And it's 38-20, but the Texas Longhorns could have put up 60 on them in the second half if they didn't call off the dogs. What is your cue? How are you getting this team refocused to go out to Baylor tonight and play?
Well, it's got to start with the leadership. But first of all, the players, you got to have a little bit of that competitive dog in you. Back when we played, it was, we fought because that's who we were. You either got it or you don't got it. You know, you're not going
Right.
to create something that you don't have, that's not there. So, most important thing, you got it in you. You know, you got to get back out there and fight. You got to love it so much that it just consumes you. So you get out there and you fight. You don't need anybody to really get you fired up. I mean, you just walk out in the field and you should be ready to rock and roll. And it's just all in the makeup, man. You either got it or you don't got it. So coaches can get you fired. Make sure you're doing your work hard, get in the film, make sure you know what you're doing. But the onus is a lot on the players. I mean, in my take with it, you just got to have that competitive dog in you. So you got to get yourself going. You know, can't really rely on some. I think that's responsibility of the players.
Hey, Joes, what do you think about that? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. You.
Okay, you're on. You're just not on the screen that I can see right now. But go ahead, Joes. You can hear. You heard the question. Go ahead and finish up.
No, I agree with all these guys, and you know my kind of style of football, man. I got after it as a player, and I don't see that. I see one or two guys, like a Zach Frazier, for instance, that's got a little bit of animal in him, but it's like he's being yoked, he's being held back for some reason. It's not everybody contagiously getting violent. It's like one guy or two guys, and everybody else is getting pushed around. And again, what B said earlier, the keep it simple concept. Keep it simple, stupid, man. That's how we learned it in the NFL. We went in the game with, 4 or 5 runs and a couple of passes, and everything else was window dressing. You got good at doing this repetitively, kicking somebody's butt with that violence. And we're just not doing that. It's like a lot of times we're out there, we're thinking about stuff, and we're a half a step behind. Now, whether that's a physical difference, or if it's a mental thing, something's got to change because we're not getting any better. We're still making the same mistakes. No. Like you guys said, we're making penalties, we're making mistakes, and we're doing things that we really shouldn't be doing because there's a lot of, everybody's thinking, and at the end of the day, we got to let the animal out. We got, we've been on the big stage. How these guys haven't been, just through the roof, out of control, violent. I just don't get it. Maybe it's the culture. Maybe I don't know.
Stop right there. So let me pose this. Let me just one second, fellas. Let me pose this question to you. They have been on the big stage now. They have played Texas on national TV. They have been in the buzz hole. They have been in the beehive. What do they do now?
Opening game.
Hey, I was just thinking what you said, Joes, because now you got me thinking, is this a product of the leadership all the way up? Because where's the energy coming from the top guy? The intensity. I mean, are we just going to be nice guys for 4 straight years, or is somebody going to put a foot down and be like, yo, step up?
I Bees, I'm with that. When you keep the definition of insane, same thing over and over.
There you go.
And you can continue to make the same mistake, right? That's the definition. Continue to make the same mistakes over and over and over. And one of the things that Aaron and I were talking about, the Texas game, our defense, our corners, there's no consistent. Technique is bad. But how about this? This has been going on not just on for the entire season. They've been on the big stage. They opened up the season at Pitt, the largest crowd ever in the history of a sporting event in the city of Pittsburgh. So they've been on this, but the things, it's repetitive. Now, we're talking about the top, and I'm glad he did with the transfer portal and our players. Now, we've benefited also. We've lost players. And I'm going to bring this up. Why isn't Shane Lyons being talked about? Like, he's the person who had, if a guy enters a transfer portal, then he's done at West Virginia University, which I think that's a stance to take, particularly when maybe there's just something personal with that kid. Maybe we can get that kid out of the transfer portal. And it helps our roster. And and this coach to a 5-year extension when he had an 11-11. There's some things there from a leadership perspective that starts at the top, and he is the.
Hey, Biggs, I see you shaking your head. What do you got to say about that?
I couldn't hear it at all.
I so agree with Mike because, our Coach Nealon, for example. Coach Nealon, he had a personality. He had some energy. He had fire. And it showed, even though he wasn't the biggest, loudest, didn't cuss, didn't swear, we all felt his energy. Those pregame speeches. When you left that go to your hotel room, how you felt. And it's like, it was even on the sidelines. He didn't have to cuss to bring us to some high intensity level of play. Even though it was in a lot of us already, he knew how to put his finger on the pulse of things and bring energy.
And he had guys around him that were
He didn't.
all right. He didn't have to be that guy. He was the leader that could say it without ever cussing. But when he went to work and he told those guys like Kurlavich and Bill Jacobs, and we can name them all, Denny Brown, the names, those guys, they drug it out of you. They were nasty, and they wanted to be nasty because it's a nasty daggone game. And if you don't have that kind of drive and that kind of fire, you can't win. And I'm going to say that I can't speak about the Shane Lyons. I can't speak about the Neil Browns and all. The only thing I can speak about is being in that locker room. And those guys that are in that locker room, there's enough in there. If they all got together behind the same daggone wagon and pushed together, not worrying about personal stat and making it to the NFL, because guess what? Most of you guys ain't never going to play in the NFL. If you do, you're going to be there 1 or 2 years like me, and you're going to be out. So live the locker room right now. Find it right now. Somebody's got to grab somebody by the god daggone throat, and we're not doing it. We're in the locker room. We're listening to the tunes and the music because it's like being in a club. Hey, guess what? I'm going to go get a haircut right before kickoff. Come on. I'm tired of it, man. I want to see some freaking, and that gets fixed in practice, Wolf. That's our practices were so brutal. I couldn't wait for a damn game. The game was easy because we were prepped. There was no, and if we weren't prepped, we got prepped at halftime. We went in and made adjustments and took care of what we had to take care of so we could go out and execute in the second half. And we didn't do that last week. We came out in the second half. We looked worse than we did in the first half for a minute. I mean, come on, man. Do something. Oh, okay. I'm better now. Thank you.
Hey, Jones, I don't know if that was a tan coming on you or you're just turning bright, man.
I can't help it, man. I just, because it is. We're all like this, though, guys. We're part of it, man. And we want to see our guys. I don't care who's wearing the uniform. I don't know their names. I just know they're Mountaineer football players. And right now we're not playing, and we've always talked about Mountaineer football. How do you play Mountaineer football? And I'm just not seeing that. And that's got to come from the coaches. That comes from the coaches demanding it and then instilling it in that locker room. And then those leaders, whoever they may be, like JT, he's got to be that leader now because he's shown that he's got the capability. He got to get in there and grab a face mask. I can't grab a face mask because I'll get fired. But another player, Beasley can go up into that guy's face and say, if you get beat deep again, I'm going to poke your eye out with this freaking pencil. I'm sorry. I shouldn't speak like that.
But that brings me to this.
Kids today don't.
It's true. It's true. Oh, what I was going to say is like how we played when we got the grades and the Mountaineer Club and all that stuff. I used to be so focused on just one play, grading 100% for every play, and it looks like now there's so much thinking. It's like they don't know how to have a short memory and just keep focusing, keep chugging. And it's like because a football game is like a chess game, you know, and it's like it looks like we're not like focusing on one play. Like we would have a party at the ball every defensive play. I made sure I got my butt in that darn camera, even if I had a go route from the other side. I was sprinting to get there because it's like a sense of urgency is important every play, and I don't see a sense of urgency.
Bees, okay. Tell me this. What's a party like on the football field in between those white lines so that people that are listening right now, the people that are listening can enjoy? What's a real party like, man, coming from your defensive spot?
Well, you know, if we got guys that miss a tackle, that next guy has to be there so quick because football is a game of my brother's keeper. Those other 10 guys, I'm playing the game for them. I'm not playing the game for me. So if I'm not getting to that ball, I'm letting so many people down. I can't live with that.
Right.
DT.
This Wolf.
Go on with that.
Think about this.
Go on that.
That he didn't get to the ball like me, running behind you. You get the damn ball on the ground. So I don't care who does it, done. And it's got to be done considerably done with some intentions. And be nice to people. Today, play the game a little, play it. I'm a little more Josiah. I'm going to try and rip. You know,
Yeah, you got to play
violent
a little bit of
game.
edge.
You have to. They're not playing with any violence. I mean, it's just like they're.
Hey, I got a question.
Skates.
I got a question. Wolf, you're going to know this probably more than any of us, but how many defensive turnovers have we created this year? How many defensive turnovers? You know, you guys are talking about the second guy being there to scoop the ball up. I haven't seen us create that opportunity. I mean, you know, first guy on the ball, I thought ensures the tackle. The second guy on the ball creates the turnover, right? I mean, that kind of thing. But we're not creating turnovers. I mean, that's big.
Well, you know, you had against Virginia Tech, the game where the Mountaineers won, Jacoby Spells had a pick six.
How about that?
Okay, so let me finish. So a freshman, that Bees, you saw this play. That man, he jumped right in front of that receiver. He went after it. He wasn't playing back. He actually, the receiver is here. He saw it. His instincts told him that ball's coming. And what did he do? He reacted, broke. And he went on there. Right, Mikey C? I mean, that's.
But he ain't starting. He won't be starting this week. But he won't be starting this week.
Playing.
You won't put him in.
Right. And, you know, talking about I love what Darryl said. You know, you got to. This is a violent game. It's a game of collision. And if you ain't built what, you need to step to the side and let somebody else get in there. And so what you're saying, that true freshman, maybe the guys, what I'm talking about, that those transfers that killed for it. And maybe we need to get the recruits or our freshman recruits, and let them make some mistakes. You know why? Because they're going to be there for 3 more years. Players done after this season. Why am I going to continue to play a guy who's over and over and over and over, who's going to be done after the season, when I can play a guy and make a mistake like Aaron in 92? He comes out, makes mistakes, but guess what he did? And you see how he develops, and now he's out for the College Football Hall of Fame. That's what that's about. That's coaching. That's how you develop your players. That's who we are. We develop our players. It's the program that signs the 5-star guy. Excuse me. We get that for 2.5, 1 star, and we make them a 5-star. And until we can find those guys, and until we make a conscious coaching staff to put those guys in there and to develop them without being scared about losing minutes, then we're going to continue to have this conversation, fellas, and it's frustrating. It's extreme. And my face starts turning red, and I want to start cussing. It's just frustrating.
Hey, you know what? A lot of it is the ceiling. You know, we talk about 5-star, 3-star. I don't even know what that means. When I got there, I was a moon. I wasn't even a star. All right. So guess what? It takes time, and you got to develop. But you know what? We all have a ceiling. We all have a cap. In other words, how good can I really get? Can he get that good? And again, hey, God blessed us with genetics. We all have genetics, and unfortunately, there's going to be a ceiling for most of us. And sometimes it's high school, sometimes it's college, and then sometimes you get to the pros and you go, wow, like I did, and go, these guys are really good. Holy mackerel, you know what I mean? So that's my thing is that if you're going to develop somebody, you know, and that's hard with the portal because you develop them and then they go. And it's like, you know, and then you got to use the portal and you got to go out and find the right pieces that can fit that loss, which means you got to find a guy who's, you know, 3 or 4 years down the road, got some experience like the quarterback JT and bring him in and he's a quick fit. But you know what? Hey, I got to say something. Hey, wait a minute, real quick, Wolf. I read something.
It is
what
it is.
I know.
No, but
hey,
honestly, it is what it is. But we have to, and that's what I was saying. So, your thought process cannot be fixated on that. Your players, you have to develop those players with the expectation. Okay, this guy is going to. You're just worried about. Okay, I can't play this guy because if he gets out there and then he's going to leave next year because come in and get him.
Oh,
well, one that's bad coaching because that's not. If you're a real leader.
You got to keep
them.
them.
Stay. They're going to want to stay, right?
Yes.
With Shane with that hard line in the sand. Maybe it's just a function of with the kid and letting them know, you know, this is what we can do to help you. Maybe it's some other things that we can allow us to re-recruit that player and keep him there. But you know, so that's I'm no genius. I'm not pretending that I have all the answers, but we have who we are, and if you try to be something that you're not, then you're going to end up being 2 and 3.
Okay, all right, fellas. So let's move this on a little bit because time is dwindling down. But let's move this on and get to actually the Baylor game, the Baylor team. And here's Neil Brown talking about who Baylor is.
Yeah, a lot of carryover. And the way I think about it, Tony, they're the Big 12 champions until somebody knocks them off. They won the championship in Dallas, and we've got an opportunity on Thursday night in front of our home crowd. We want it to be a raucous home crowd. And but a lot of respect for Dave, and they're really good. Offense, defense, special teams, well-rounded team.
All right. Well, let's go to you, Joe, because I don't see Bees there. And are you still there, Bees? What are you doing? He's not there. Joe's, are you there, Joe? All of a sudden, you've gone crazy. Oh, haywire. Hey, Joe, you go ahead and re-sign on, man. Re-sign on. Right now, go ahead and re-sign. All right, Mikey C., go ahead, man. What did you think about Neil Brown, what he just said?
I mean, he's correct. They're the defending Big 12 champions, 5-ranked team. They're going to come in. They're going to do exactly Aranda has a plan, right? They physically. They want to physically dominate you up front. They want to run the football. Also pick their spots to kind of spread you out. But they're going to play. They're going to be sound. They're going to be sound on all 3 phases of the game, and so that's been his recipe, and he has the ingredients, and he worked his recipe, and they won the Big 12 last year. You know, they've was it TCU got beat by, or is it Okie State in conference? But anyway, so they're going to come ready to play. We're going to have to be able to run the football. You know, and we're going to show. And here's the thing. This is the thing about a well-prepared and well-coached team. Your deficiencies. It really shows your deficiencies. And if you're not prepared, it's going to.
Bees, let me talk to you about this, Bees, because basically what you're going to see out of Dave Aranda, who 2 years ago during COVID, they went 3-7. Okay. He came on last year, and I'm sorry, he was on the COVID. He was 3-7. Last year he wins the Big 12. This is year 3. Baylor's back competing for Big 12 titles and winning them because they are the Big 12 defending champion right now. What are the Mountaineers got to do tonight? Is try to step up and say, hey, we're here as well, because right now they've had some downs, but you only remember your last game. If you stand up, and that's what's so great about the Big 12 as opposed to playing in a conference where you don't have a ranked opponent every week. So you went and got shellacked to Texas. Hey, everybody gets shellacked once a week. It can happen. But now, if you get shellacked again, now you're really in trouble.
My thing is, like a team like Baylor, they've been in Morgantown and won, so they're not afraid to come in there and play us.
I'm sorry, no, they haven't.
They
0-5.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good.
They dominated Waco. They dominate Waco.
Oh, because that was a game. It was 70-63 or something.
Yeah. We won by.
I didn't that much for me. But I just think a Dave Miranda team, you got to think you're going to get a great defense. We're not going to score the points like we scored early. I mean, it's going to be like a Texas type of defense, and we're just going to have to stop somebody, man. Like, we've been pretty much a sieve on defense, if you ask me, man. When our goal was 17 and under, what was our goal for points a week? 17 and under. I mean, I just think they're going to play ball control, keep our offense off the field because that's our strong point, and just, I don't know, man. I'm nervous. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay, I hear you there. DT, I want you to listen to Neil here talking about the defense of the Bears and respond after this.
Let's talk a little bit about their defense. How do they stress you when they're playing defense? Well, it starts with their front six. They've got a D tackle in Iku, who's as good as anybody in the country at that position. He's a load. They're able to play kind of a man down in the box. And they shut down everybody's run game. Nobody's been able to run the ball against them. They've got 2 veteran linebackers. Number 5, Dylan Wills, Mike linebacker. He kind of makes them go as far as kind of directing traffic. And it allows them to play. In the secondary, they play a lot of 2 high safeties, and they keep the ball in front of them. So very few explosive plays given up in the pass game.
Go ahead, DT.
From what I could surmise, he's looking at 2 good linebackers, and he's relying on the veteran status of the guys on that team. I mean, that's what he said they're using. But my question is, what would you do if you put people in base and not let them have free run? Because these guys are mostly run.
Yeah.
And the way they block, I don't understand how schemes fit versus offensive fronts. That it's not as physical as it should be.
Well, they are outside zone to the stretch zone plays, which normally that is not getting to the perimeter. That is not a physical team, but they are a physical team. And the fact that they actually have, I'm going on the defensive line, that they are big and they hold you down. I screwed up talking about the wrong side of the ball there for a second. The defense, when you look at that, they have the 3 big defensive linemen. You got Iku up there, the 260 or 360 pound nose guard is 6'4", 260, and you got 2 other guys in that defensive line that are 296, 6'5". Now they're only allowing 97 yards rushing per game. And they're allowing 223 yards in the passing game. Now, they're playing a lot of 2 safety high because they're not going to give you that big play. They're not going to let you go out there and get the.
So they're not.
And
They're not
so
playing show coverage.
Right. Exactly. And when you see that, and the game, what does the offensive line and the offense have to do to establish a running game? If you can't establish a running game, we saw what happened in
They
Texas.
run. Wait a minute, they should be running the ball. 2 safeties, they should have put 2 tight ends in the game and have numbers.
Thank you. That's
what
it,
you do.
DT. That's it, DT. Right?
You got to think about what you have. So, that's when you can show me that two safety high look. Until you bring it, when I see 1 safety up there, then I'll throw it. 2 high, I'm running the ball at you because I don't
6
think you
in
can
the
stop
box.
me.
Right?
That's it.
6 in the box, run the ball. 7 in the box, you got to be able to throw it a little bit. And if they're bringing 8, you're throwing hot to somebody. Okay.
All right, Jones. Okay, yeah, that's the truth. But why are they so good in the run? Because they show 6 in the box, but what they're doing is they're having a defensive line take up the offensive lineman. So the linebackers like Doyle and Alcott or Walcott is the leading tackler, that they are running free, looking like all Americans because the defensive line is clogging up the offensive line.
Everybody.
Okay, then we got to create some double teams and we got to get movement. We can't.
If you don't get nothing up front, that's because those 2 big, they're doing eat up blockers. Because trust me, if I got on a big line, give me a big no, take 2 guys up, and give me another one's going to take 2 guys up. There's 3, nobody blocking them. No one. And there's no excuse. Period. We're going to have a party at the ball. Don't come late, because you come late, you ain't going to get 8. You ain't going to get to eat. You come early and often.
Okay, so with that being said, then you come late to the party. What should be the response of your teammates that aren't coming late to dinner, that are there at the party? What's your response? Because right now they're 2 and 3. You got to figure out who you are.
No, because see, I wouldn't be allowed to do that, because I would turn around and it's going to me in your face. Because why ain't you here? I got here. Your feet work. I don't care if you're tired. If you're tired, get in shape. Those ones that I'd beat you down. I'd run with you as long as you want to run. Then run all day. And they ain't going to stand there and fight with somebody 300 pounds. Until. So guess what? That's what they need. They need somebody to grab somebody and say, look, this is the way we're going to play. We're going to play this way. Somebody's got to tell somebody something.
Somebody's going to tell somebody something. Well,
I'm getting a T-shirt. I'm going to get a T-shirt. Somebody's got to tell somebody something.
Hey, it's right underneath the team. Right underneath the team.
That's a Yogi Berra.
Hey, let me add something.
That's a
let me add something.
But that's the thing. You know exactly what he means. It's
you know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't have to mix words. But see, on the field now they got a different animal. Will come out on the field. Like you hear Joe's will growl, and you can hear him start his voice start, and the louder that bad boy gets, the more excited he gets. And then the blood's gonna come to his head's gonna look like it's gonna pop off. I understand this.
Right, he's saying something.
I love it, man.
Hey, but that know what it is?
Say,
we're all laughing. We're all laughing because we all had that same mentality.
To point it.
We all play different positions with the same mentality.
Same mentality.
That is exactly right. Look, I'm gonna tell you what. That's one of my recruits.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Darryl,
Absolutely.
right there, man. My mentor, my brother. One of the main reasons why I signed at West Virginia.
They didn't they're not lining up and taking it upon themselves or against whomever it is. got to take, how do I want to say, you got to take, and right now, it's everybody looking like they want to blame somebody else out because we're nothing but white noise in the background. We'll sit down in the room and decide what they want to do.
All right. Well, let's move it on here. Let's finish this up, man, for the offense there. It's time to keep it moving.
Wait a minute.
Keep talking. Go ahead. What?
Wait a minute. I just want to say one thing about, and Darryl said this earlier. If you're going to play a 6-man box with 2 high safeties, you know, bring a couple of tight ends in the game. Give me a tight end, a wing, and a wide out. Play some different formations, and let's attack them and stress the defense. If you're going to have a 2-gap guy, make him try to truly play 2 gaps, and you know what I mean. Create some problems with the box with formations, and make those guys think. If you're just going to let them sit there and play their defense,
right there,
and you're not going to give them some issues, shame on you. And I know Laughlin, I think he's questionable for today. I don't know if he's playing or not, but you got other bodies, you know, do some other things. You can't just sit there and try to, you know, because that guy in the middle, that guy blows up double teams. And like you guys are saying, the main reason why those linebackers are able to scrape and fill and do all the things they're doing is because that big guy in the middle, you know, and they got a couple of them. But you know what? Okay, so now that puts us on Zach Frazier and our guards. If you're going to do this and you're going to do it right, you don't get beaten a double team. It's 2-on-1. You're 330 and the guy next to me is 310 or whatever. That's 800 pounds against 350 pounds. Shame on you if you lose that battle, Wolf.
Shame on you if you're 310.
What, is that what I said? That's 3,000 pounds. Holy crap.
We all acting like
let's keep that enthusiasm going. And let's listen to Neil. This is quick.
He's done a really nice job. He's mobile. He's done a really good job in our RPO game. He gets the ball out fast, quick game, and then they do a nice job pairing up their run game, which is what they want to really lean on, their outside zone game. And then they've got some play action passes off those same looks that they're able to get some guys down behind the safeties. And they've got a kid in Baldwin who's a sophomore receiver who's starting to really come on.
Okay, so that is the offense. Now you have the defense; they're solid. David Rand is going to do a solid defense. You know what he's going to do. But you look at the offense, and Grimes, the OC, he's doing the same thing. He's going to go ahead, and he's going to do exactly what you just said, Brian Joswiak and Darryl Talley. He's going to take his tight ends. He's going to take 11 personnel. He's going to take 12 personnel. He's going to move those receivers in and out. He's going to flip and flop the tight ends. He's got to get an H-back. He's going to have a running back do the dots moving around because they run the same plays. They run the same plays. Yeah, the same plays, but they're moving everything around. Now, if you recall, Kansas took it to the Mountaineers because they were moving everything. It was like a moving circus. Okay, and they tried to confuse, and they did. They did a great job of confusing the Mountaineers. Well, that's what this is going to happen with the Baylor Bears because if they establish that run, which are running 188 yards and getting the running backs, Richard Reese, a true freshman, 5.5 yards per rush. But they're running power. They're running your split zone. They're running your scissors zone. And they're doing it all different kinds of looks. So it looks like they're running 20 different plays at you, but it's really 4 or 5 max in the run game. And then after they establish that running game, guess what? You don't get a pass rush because now you're backing off against the run and you go and play action pass. And they actually got some fast cats back there. So you heard what Coach Brown said. I want to hear from all of you. And I'm going to start with you, Mike Collins. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that's, I was having this conversation with some guys on a they're asking about, and that's what I was saying. They're going to run the ball, and they're going to play action pass, and they're going to be physical. Now, this about the Kansas game with the option and with this movement. What do you have to do sound and fun? You have to be sound in your fundamentals. If there's a shift, then you know that you got to move. If you're playing zone, you got to play zone. You just have to know what your assignments. If you got a roll of coverage, then the guys have to communicate, and that's that, because all they're doing is moving. They're moving strength, right? So they move strength from one side to the other to that side, and then the strength of our defense goes to that side. So, and that's coaching. And so they have to, hopefully they're prepared. We have this bye week and they can show up.
Yep. DT, explain please why all this moving around matters to defensive players, because you all have to be on the same page with 11, and then all of a sudden it's the moving pieces. They're not static. They're not standing still.
Well, see, here's the thing. Basically, if you're playing zone, it don't matter where you go because of zone. Worst case scenario. If it's man, then you have connected. You have, let's say, like you have a triangle with linebackers, outside linebacker on one side, or the outside linebacker and the outside of a guy on one side, and they'll have two guys. They can say if they have the back in the backfield, and one of them, or they could have the two tight ends together. So if they want to exchange release, you have to be able to change it in within a box. You got to know how to explain it to you over the phone, but I can draw it up for you. Basically, what you're having to do, you're playing numbers. You're using your numbers like their numbers. And if you got big on big, that's what you try and keep. But when they trying to do is put a small guy on a big guy and the big guy on a small guy. So the offense has so that's what they're trying to get ultimately. But you're basically going to have to play, is what I would do. I'd play traps on them, and then I would play man, but I take the guy on the line of scrimmage. And see, a lot of people try and do exchange, get that back guy open all the time. And if you take one guy away, then now there's – so you know you got to have him. So that would eliminate a lot of –
Yeah. Hey, Beast, you heard what he has to say. Okay, so offensively, Blake Shapen, he's pretty sharp. He's 69%, close to 70% completion percentage, and he's not dropping back with 10 personnel, dropping back in the pocket. He's doing the play action pass off of the split zone. He's doing the play action pass off the power, and it's hard to get a rush on him. And he's pretty accurate. And he's got this Monterey Baldwin, who against Oklahoma State 10 days ago came out and had a coming out party like very few have had. And this cat is fast again. Mr. Corner, who lasted so long in the NFL, and you self-admittedly say that you were not the fastest of DBs, but you had to play the fast guys. How did you compensate for that, brother? Let's see.
Hey, that and putting hands on people. You know,
there you go.
I was not allowed to give a free release in cover 2. I see a lot of that. I see a lot of free people running down the field, and it stresses safeties. It stresses all your zones, because if you got guys running at the same level, then, and I got guys playing like a short
you
flat,
put the safety in.
There's so many holes in your defense, because if we're expecting a pass rush to get there with usually it's only 3 people, or maybe it's the outside guy, and then this is what scares me. We're losing that guy on our left side, and we got a quarterback that's pretty mobile tonight. He just threw for a career high 345. So we're going to have to worry about what Kansas kind of did to us, because in football, teams are copycats. They're going to see what worked. They're going to find that one play, that 1 or 2 plays that works consistently against us, and they're going to run it until we stop it, because we haven't stopped it yet. There's one that's a skinny post, and then that RPO, the seam down the middle. When have we stopped it? Okay.
Hey, when have we tried to cover it?
Don't ask me.
I mean, you know, but what you said was so important, because you don't have to be the fastest cat out there. you have to be the smartest, but you also have to use your fundamental skills to slow them down and understand your terrain. My terrain is with Xavier Worthy a week and a half ago, is that was a fast track out there. And if you don't slow him down, you nor your buddies are going to go ahead and make that stop. And I want to know, man, did they learn? I guess we'll find out tonight.
We'll find out. And that's that play that you're talking about. It's a guy running down the middle field untouched, right? We had 3 people rushing, and they got this big line off of play action. So our linebacker's going to be short, and our guy is taught to read the run first.
You got 3
Why?
guys. Why are they short?
Yeah.
I'm going to say it in silence.
I'm reading you loud and clear.
Hey,
All
but
right.
think about it. The football IQ is important.
Yes.
Because now the guys I don't think we're skilled enough. So we have to have some advantage that can help you play quicker and anticipate things, Like that's the one thing. You got to train, you got to know formations, know these splits, and put them in your head instead of that music, instead of your social media. Cut that off and get. If you want to make it to the league, you ain't gonna make it if you ain't got no sports.
You're not gonna get that Twitter handle going if you don't got no juice in between those white lines, right?
If you ain't making no plays, what the heck for your Twitter, right?
Oh,
hey,
y'all
Joe, go ahead.
It hurts.
Joe, answer Joey Foster here. He says this is one for you because guys, our football players too tough for their own good. I'm talking about playing while injured, like Nestor did with a broken hand. ABS players trying to get around protocol. I don't know what that ABS means, Joey, but Joe, go ahead and answer. Are players too tough for their own?
And players trying to get around protocols.
Hey,
you're trying to go with the brain thing, Joey. Oh, okay. The Tua. I see. Get a Tua.
All I know is this, man. It's a violent game. We've said that. It's a collision sport. At this point in the season, you're banged up. You're hurt. You're sore. You're hurting. If you're injured and you can't play, I get that because I've lived that. And if you just can't do your job, then by God, you can't be put on the field. But you got to scrape me off of the field. You got to carry. I want to be out there. And the playing through the injury. We're so soft anymore. The definition of hurt and injured used to be a definitive line. There's a difference between being hurt and being injured. All right. If it's hanging off and it's bent this direction, of course, Talley, it didn't matter. It could be bent this direction. He just said, tape it up, put an aspirin on it. I'm playing. All right. And that's the big part that I'm trying to say is we're all going to be banged up. Get it out of your head and get back on the field and do your freaking job because the guy behind you might not be as good. So you're going to let the team down. That's the sickening part of injury is you feel like you're letting your freaking brothers down and your team down. And I ain't going to do that unless I just can't do it. And then I'm better off sitting on the sideline and rooting for you. All right. But that's part. And I'm going to tell you something else too. Defensively tonight, if we don't shut down the first down, when it's 1st and 10, play action passes work when the running game is working and I'm putting you 2nd and short, 2nd and 3, 2nd and 4, then I can pull the trigger on a play action pass because I know my offensive line is going to get me that 3rd and short or that 1st down. But so it comes down, we got to shut them down 1st and 10. We got to put them in 3rd and long situations, 2nd and long situations where they've got to throw the football, which is dangerous because we ain't covering anybody. So let's get a pass rush maybe and put some damn pressure on them.
Well, you can't get a pass rush unless you put them in 3rd and long.
Well, then you know what? Then the offense –
you got to win the first downs like you just said.
Then the offense needs to stay on the field. Keep their offense off the field.
They got to stay on schedule.
Not rocket science, is it, Joes?
No, it's really not, man. Especially if I know how to play this game. Right? Keep it simple. Keep it simple.
And I'll tell you what, when I think of that, keep it simple, I'm just looking right there at Bees.
Well, you know, it's true. Honest to God, I played for an offensive coordinator named Homer Schmitt. Homer Schmitt came out of UCLA, and he joined the staff out in Kansas City the second year I was out there. And his offensive philosophy, he had more stuff. His playbook looked like a phone book, man. And it had 6 pages of offensive line calls and all this stuff. And you know what we went into a game with? 4 runs, 5 passes. 4 runs, 5 passes. A couple of tricksters, a couple of adjustments, but everything else was window dressing. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to get them to change their eyes, get them to think, make adjustments, and slip up for 1 split second, and we're running the same power play that we've been running down your throat. So we gotta shut them down on first down.
Well,
I didn't mean to get back to that, but you know.
No, there's no doubt. But how about this? Then for keys, we're talking about keys for tonight. I think we need big plays. Last week at Texas, we got big played. Okay,
Big played.
Because right now we have ball control, our offense. But you know, what does that matter when you don't put the points in the end zone?
True.
I mean, I could go back to the Steelers with Kenny Pickett last week. He threw for 340 yards. They scored 3 points. You know,
No, great
it
point.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And so we need to get big plays back, and we need to do it on both sides of the ball. You don't win football games if you're not winning the turnover battle on a consistent basis.
Amen.
Since 2002, the Mountaineers are 95-14 when winning the turnover battle. When they win the turnover battle, they're 95. That's a stat that just says this is the stat. Okay, the stat of stats. 95-14. Now you're starting to talk like Nick Saban team. Okay, that wins like
or a Don Nehlen team. Because
Okay,
Don
right.
Nehlen, the only goal that he ever talked about in a team meeting after a game, the only goal was, did you win the turnover battle? Everybody else talked about the defensive and the offensive goals. Nehlen pulled out that little box chart, boom, and that was it, right? And that's all he talked about. And if you win the turnover battle, you know, those are game changers, those are momentum changers, and they're scoring opportunities. And if we're putting the ball on the ground and we're giving it up, we got a problem. Or if we're throwing interceptions, we got a problem. And we're not taking the ball enough. So I'm with you, Wolf, man. Turnover, I mean, that's not all of it, but that's a big part of it.
Well, you know who's leading the nation for the last 7 years in turnovers? Alabama. Yep.
There it is.
I mean, if that doesn't speak the truth, it's the equation, man. You got it, but it's big playing. It's big playing. And they don't sit there and wait for you. I mean, I'm looking at 3 defensive guys right there that are special, that went out and made big plays happen. And I look at you, Brian Joswiak, and I'll go back to the greatest game I ever saw you play in college, Bruce Smith, Virginia Tech. You know how much of a badass Bruce Smith still is. Okay, we'll still go with that. But again, is the game you had? Yeah, we know, DT. I saw him a couple of weeks ago. But regardless, you have to go out and take it because no one's going to give it to you. And that's what we've been waiting for at West Virginia, in my opinion. When you look at the whole entire picture, it's basically we want to win, but do we really want to win?
Well, what are the players waiting for?
You want to take it.
Right. So what are they waiting for? I'm waiting and the fans are waiting, but what about the guys in the locker room? They can't wait. Right. I'm going to step up. I'm going to make the big play. Bees is going to make the big play. Darryl's going to make the big play. Somebody's got to step up and make the big play. And in order for that to happen, we all have to do our job. Because if I'm not doing my job, then Beasley's worrying about me doing my job, and he ain't doing his job good enough. So in order for me to make a big play, all my brothers got to be making plays, doing their job. Do your job. Guess what? Your job is to make a big play. Your job is to catch the big touchdown. Your job is to make the big block to allow the quarterback to make the big play. So let's all get together and let's do this together. That's what we haven't really truly seen. We've seen glimmers of it. We've seen glimmers, but we haven't seen the complete game yet. And why not tonight? Why not against the defending Big 12 champion? And by God, they ain't won yet in Morgantown. Get out of my stadium.
Right. Exactly.
My house.
Hey, you
right?
have to
Our
protect
house.
home base.
Our house. That's right.
It's our house. You don't come in it.
Explosive plays. Explosive plays. You're right.
If you let somebody come in here, I tell you what, if they let somebody come in their house and take all of it, they can't feed their kids, they're going to have a problem. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to take the stuff right out of your mouth. They're going to take your food right out of your mouth. You got to play them. People don't like that analogy, but that's the way it is.
Too bad.
You're in your house. Because you don't want to eat a snack later.
That's so funny you said in our house because, there's been very few guys that have been closer to this team, being on the outside than I am, working in and out with the media, with the 1891 Club, the Century Club. And, going from what used to be our house, I don't think and it's just kind of, this is just coming to me. I haven't heard that much.
Oh!
I haven't heard that much about this is our house. Get out of our house. It's interesting because
why is that?
I don't know.
Why is it?
You guys.
Go, Darryl.
That's it.
Go, Darryl.
It's our house, boss.
Yeah, but why is it? Why aren't we in the locker room saying that to each other? It's because I just showed up in the spring. Is this really my house? I mean, I'm wearing a uniform and everything, but I really don't have my own room, and they don't really like me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, our house means we're all part of the family.
Come on, you need to come over here and sit down next to me. We're gonna all sit down here and eat dinner. We're gonna know who your brothers are, who your sisters are, what your girlfriend's name is, what your other girlfriend's name. We're gonna know your dog's name, your cat's name, and how many mice or rats you might keep. If you got to have some guys with snakes. So, yeah, you're going to sit down and we're going to figure out all going to happen through a period of time. In the locker room, out of the locker room, on the field, and ask you, hey, man, what did you do yesterday? Because you don't look like
right.
You're going to tell me something. Something's got to happen. I may ask you point blank and blunt in front of people. I don't care what's going on with you. Because we're part of this village. We're all in each other, man. That's the way it is when you're in school. And guys have got to figure that out.
Okay. Your brothers. You can
brotherhood,
speak an uncomfortable truth to your brother because and you know what? You speak that uncomfortable truth to your brother. You don't want to see your brother make that mistake. And you need that brother to have your back. That's part of it, right?
That's part of it.
You love when you love tell them when they're doing wrong. And you hold each other accountable. That makes the bond, in my opinion. And that's what Joe's is saying, man. That's something with us, and you're bringing it up, Dale. That's something that's missing, right? That connection. We're missing that, and hopefully it starts tonight, man. Hopefully over this last, we've reassessed, like Aaron said. Let's look at what we're doing well. Let's look what we're doing bad. But off the field, what can we do better? How can we get better? How can we get closer? How can we speak coach you guys better? How can you all accept coaching better? That's what I'm looking for.
Okay, so reality and Bees, I'm going to go right to you on this one. Reality is 4 years they've had a barely winning record for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Not many guys on this team started out here as West Virginia. Doesn't seem to me like there's a lot of guys that understands what a Mountaineer is, a Mountaineer winning program is, Mountaineer winning tradition is. And I'm not holding that against them, but I think we have to consider this. And it's more than just, you going in there and working with them for a day. I mean, I don't think we have roots as our leaders. Okay. I'm going to let you guys go ahead, Beast. Go with it.
Hey, I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, how many of us have actually been asked to go speak to this team? How many of us have actually met with any of these coaches, had a dinner, had lunch? I mean,
I met him.
Hey, you got your number.
I met him too.
I met him.
But I'm just saying on a consistent basis, because like a lot of us have recruits. It's like one of our former Mountaineers, John Jones, his son is in North Carolina balling. You know, I had guys, 4-star recruits. They didn't want to come here because they don't know who's going to be the next coach, the DB coach. You know what I mean? Like we just got to develop some kind of consistency within the program where coaches are staying, because if coaches are staying, we don't have to worry about transfers because we got good coaches that are developing guys that are sending people to the league, which is the #1 recruiting factor. We got to have some homegrown talent staying in West Virginia. We got guys leaving, going to Penn State. We got guys starting on Tennessee. We got to have a guy
that's going on forever.
I know, but at the same time, the guys that we brought in, we stayed there and built a fort, and we stayed together because we wanted to fight for each other.
That is
now
true.
It's so much individualism. It's now me. But
Right.
It's a tough situation because I feel
It's
like
hard.
it's hard nowadays. It's so hard nowadays. But I just feel like here's an example. A guy like Deion Sanders, for example. Guys are going to stay to play for him because of what? His energy. What he brings is more than football. He's 1 AA, and they're close to us in recruiting class because of his energy. You know what I'm saying? Think about that.
And he's a pretty special dude, anyways. Because he came out in that meeting. He says he's Mr. Swag now.
Oh, who ain't swag? Who ain't swag?
That was good stuff, man. You know, and that just goes to the show. Like, you know, if you can sit there, go ahead, DT. What's up?
I ain't gonna say that one. I know that one. He's got what he say. I know that.
Yes.
So yeah.
Okay, so
That's
let's
really
go on
different.
to another question here because we got Golden Blue dude here. Now he's asking a question: are the receivers being held accountable for all these drop passes?
They're not, because who else is behind them?
Right. Where's the next guy at?
Boom.
Where's the next guy at? And you know,
next question.
We were talking about concentration fundamentals. That's what that is. That's concentration fundamentals, man. That's the basic play. You make that move, and I think, you know, we're just not that fundamental football. We keep going back to the same thing, but when we keep going back to the same thing, maybe that same thing is, you know.
How about this?
If
you don't catch the ball, get on the jugs machine.
Coaching?
Right? Hey, guys, if you drop a pass in a game, then you ought to be catching balls every day. And I'm sure they do that, but maybe not enough of them. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, a lot of that stuff's correctable. You know? I mean,
right. I'm going to be honest.
Hey,
here.
hold on.
No, I know they're on the jugs machine.
Sure they are. All right. But if you drop the ball in practice, it should be painful.
Wow.
If I'm carrying a football and I knock the ball out, I knew a coach that would give a football to the running back and he'd walk around school all day long. And if I find you and sneak up behind you and knock the ball out, you got 10,000 yards of up downs or whatever. So I'm just saying, you know, and a lot of that's gone out of football. You know, I'm sorry, but their punishment changes behavior. I don't care what you say, all you soft-hearted people out there. If I drop the football, I should pay. If I break the rule, Talley left my chair out of the locker, and I almost died because of it. You make a mistake, you screw up, you're supposed to be held accountable. But I'm saying that there's got to be, you know, being held accountable means there's got to be some sort of a punishment. If I don't show up for work 3 days in a row, I shouldn't have a job. I should be fired after the second time, and we're too soft. We're too easy. We need to work just a little bit more on, how do we hold that guy accountable? Well, I'm going to go get a haircut and take a nap. It's too easy. It's too easy. I'm sorry. It's just too easy.
Okay, wait a second. I'm going to say,
but you know what? But wait a minute. There's programs that are doing it.
Hey.
Alabama, you said Alabama. Alabama does it.
Listen, I tell you what. On Fridays, I used to get my hair cut I'd be like WolfMan fresh. Okay, because I'd be feeling really good going on Friday, and I have my hair cut, and I go out there, and I do think that some of this stuff is okay. It's okay, but all right, Joe. So we didn't have to go that far. Yeah. Oh, okay. We just digress. We just digress.
You look good. You play good, right, Wolf? That's kind of
I got the flow, baby.
How you feel. But also, there's a balance, though, too, where it's not so much about the look. It's also about the play. There's guys who like the attention as opposed to actually the putting through the effort. And I think that's one of the things we keep saying it too about the music and all that stuff. There's more to the program than that stuff. And we put the damn music off and let's practice. Let's work.
Well, they can't do that anymore. They do that.
Say that, Darryl.
Anymore.
Time.
They can't do that anymore.
They can't do it anymore.
They can't go back and practice.
Okay. So let's
can't go back and do that.
Yeah, let's start weighing this down. What are the keys in your guys' opinions? I'm going to go each one. DT, you start out. Mikey C, you go next. B's third. Joe's fourth. And I'll go clean up. Go ahead.
I think this game is going to be a high-scoring game. I don't think there's going to be very much defense played in. I'm saying 45-38, something like that. The best thing I would say is we need to, and with them running a stretch zone, because there's going to be an RPO system at you, you have to fire corners and hopefully hit somebody in the mouth. That's all.
Mikey C.
I'm not going to predict score, but I think the key to the game is we're going to have to, like you said, Wolf and Joe's, I think you both said this, we have to get them off schedule. We can't get them in predictable situations where they in turn for offense. We want to get them predictable defensively where they have to throw the ball. That gives us a better opportunity to defend the pass. I think what we need to do is we need to establish the run. We have to establish the run. We have very good receivers on the outside. Now they have to be consistent as well. Establish the run. We'll be able to do to them what they want to do to us. We're going to be ahead of the sticks, and we'll be able to do some play action stuff. And but that's going to be quick. Another thing, Wolf, just as you're wrapping it up, the explosive plays are going to be important, and we have to create some turnovers. We have to create more opportunities for our offense to be on the field, limit their offense. So that's what I see.
All right, Bees.
Offense, we got to make the plays when they're supposed to be made. We got to catch the ball. We got to not have any dumb penalties. We got to strive for perfection on offense because the scariest part of our team is a defense. And on defense, I feel like communication, because we're going to see some shifting. I'm harsh on the D. I should be. How many points have we given up so far besides Towson?
Right.
But my thing is on defense, communication, eye discipline, because they're going to be running that play action, and our guys got to play with urgency so that when they do the RPOs, our guys got to play with urgency to get under these slot guys so our safeties aren't stressed. And I hope we backpedal this game, okay? Because I'm tired of the guys are shuffling, and it's pretty obvious they're running by us after like 2 or 3 steps because nobody's backpedaling, because you're not keeping your separation. And by that time, they're running by us. So we got to keep our separation and play with some good leverage. The key is most of these guys' balls are thrown inside, or inside over the top. We got to protect. No big plays, make big plays.
There you go. Joe's?
You know, we've scored 191 points in the first 5 games, and we've given up 148. Explain that to me. We're outscoring our opponents. And I get Towson and all that. You know, that was a lot of points. But, you know, we got to shut them down. We got to play better defense, obviously. You know, I'm going to speak to what we have going. I mean, it's under the lights. It's a stripe the stadium. It's a Big 12 matchup. We haven't lost to Baylor at home in 5 years. Every time they've come to our house, and we got our butts handed to us last year. I mean, they had like 530 yards of offense or some outlandish number last year, and they slapped us around pretty good. But you know what? The stage is set, and guess what? I mean, Baylor got a little embarrassed last week. They lost at home, snapped a 9-game losing streak. All that fancy. You don't think they're going to come in here a little pissed off? They're going to come in here for redemption. They got so much going. We're gonna take their best shot, abso-freaking-lutely, and we better be able to deliver from the very first play. I think in my opinion, just like last week, when you watch the first couple of plays, you know what the outcome's going to be. You know what I mean? The stage that so we're going to know tonight real fast whether we're there to play or not. And it's a 4-quarter game. So we got to keep it close. We can't let them do what they did last week and score freaking unanswered points. All right. We got to find a way to get the points. Like you've been saying, Wolf, all the stats don't matter. It's points. It's points. And it's enough points to win the ball game. And you know, that's going to be tonight. And for us, offensive line wise, man, we gotta take advantage. And I'm sorry, but we got to take advantage of a 6-man box. They won't play 6 men. We got to get 4.5 yards a carry. We got to find a way to establish that, and that gives the offense a chance to do what it needs to do. I'm excited. You know me, man. I'm a Mountaineer. I want our guys to win. I don't want nothing but great things for them. But you know what? You don't get great things unless you work hard and take them. You got to take it. You got to go out there and take it. You can't wait around. And like I said, we'll know in the first few plays where these guys are ready. You guys have been saying it. They've had big stages. This ain't no cherry popping tonight. We're going to go out there. We've been on the big stage. No, I'm sick of excuses.
Right.
I don't want to hear no more excuses. Oh, well, you know, we're going to get better. We're going to fix it. I'm tired of hearing the same rhetoric. All right. I want to see results. I want to see results.
Okay.
And I think we all do.
Let me finish up with this then. I want to see JT Daniels be that 5-star dude. I want to see Bryce Ford Wheaton, who wants to go to the NFL and has all the ability to go to the NFL next year, play like he is the man, because he can. And when he does, he's extraordinary. 10, 11 catches per game. He's extraordinary. I want to see Sam James catch a 3rd and 3 pass on a critical 3rd down pass, just a 3-yard crossing the middle. I want to see simple execution of simple plays. I want to see a defense that's running to the ball, that swarms to the ball. I want to see a defense that creates turnovers, that creates a good field position for the offense to score points. It's called complementary football. That means a defense helping the offense helping the special teams, and it goes in a circle, and then it goes back around. It's all complementary, okay? And when you do that, you're actually playing football, the game. And I'm going to tell you this, and this is going to be how I'm going to leave it, because I'm not going to keep going on and going on and on. I'm not. No. What I'm going to say is this. Get out of my house.
Right.
Right.
Get out of my house.
House,
That's
and
right.
that's all.
Right.
Get it. DT, get him out of your house, brother.
Get out.
My house.
Get out of my house.
Hey,
My house.
you know,
Dirty
I don't like.
feet.
I don't like bad. I don't. Hey, and wipe your feet when you.
wipe your feet with you. That's right, DT. Hey, listen, I got a couple things. Bees, we gotta get you into the NCAA Hall of Fame, man. So we're working on that. I'm gonna say it every single time you come on the show. We're gonna do this. Mountaineer Nation, get behind them. And DT, we are gonna get you, man, into the NFL Hall of Fame. We're working for it. Listen, you guys have earned it. Okay, so all we're doing is what we're supposed to be doing in supporting you guys. You've earned your roles. Really proud of you guys. Thanks for coming on Mountaineer Legends pregame with Big Joe's, man. Aaron Beasley, you know, we got to thank Jake Kelchner, you know, Schmitt there for his short ride, shotgun ride he was doing.
Hey, thank Parmar.
I'm not
Thank our
done yet.
people.
I'm not done yet. And we got to thank the king. DT, Darryl, Talley, the king, and of course, Parmar Stores, and who else I want to thank? I want to thank everybody that goes out tonight to support.
Thank you, Wolf.
Thank me, yeah.
Thank you, Wolf.
Get out of my home.
Wolf, you sounded like you were getting me fired up. You sounded like the team captain. You
Oh my God!
I liked it. I liked it.
God bless you guys. Love
Hopefully
you.
we got some guys in the locker room.
Let's go Mountaineers this way. Hey, I want you all to come back now. So let's do it.
go Mountaineers.
This was a great session, and let's take what we see, and then we'll come back and regroup and see what happens.
All right, yeah.
Amen.
Sounds good.
See you.
Go Mountaineers.
Love you guys. Love you guys. Go Mountaineers,
Love-
man.
Love you.
Peace. Love you guys.
Hi, I'm Sean Martin. I'm from Bluefield, West Virginia. And when I'm back home in Mercer County, you will find me at my local Parmar store.
We had that golden boot pride at Parmar. There are literally hundreds of Parmar stores in West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, and even more on the way. Download the Parmar app to save even more. And whether it's food, gas, groceries, or whatever, we have you covered at Parmar. West Virginia proud, West Virginia strong, and ready to serve you.
If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
Where do the true gold and blue faithful go for the best in beer, burgers, pizza, wings, and more? It's the Mountaineer Tap House on the Evansdale campus. Mountaineer Tap House features well over 40 craft beers on tap, plus the best appetizers, salads, burgers, wings, pizza, and tacos the University City has to offer. Enjoy their exclusive craft cocktails too. Dine on the balcony or chill out inside with walls and walls of TVs. Follow Mountaineer Tap House on social media. Mountaineer Tap House, second floor above the Parmar store on the Evansdale campus.